Hey,
I,
it's my husband's Zoom, so that's why it says his name.
okay. Well, great to have you with us. Yeah.
Thank you.
I remember your name, and I think we've corresponded before. Or...
Yeah, we did, and I took your son's 1 hour class.
Okay, so we've got a veteran of the class.
Yeah, I don't think I'm a veteran, but anyway.
Okay, oh, you attended. All right, got it. And Aaron, where in the world are you?
Right now I'm in Calgary, Alberta, but I live in Nanaimo, BC.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Oh, okay, great. Yeah.
And we have somebody who's
muted in no video.
Oh.
Okay, Carolyn, it says, yeah.
Do you want, Sam, do you want to put a little bit of music on? And I feel like people are still actually just registering now. And so
Sure,
if you guys don't mind waiting for a couple of minutes, and we'll just wait till a few people start rolling in, and then we can get going.
Sounds good.
Who's the DJ? Kaz, are you going to choose the music or your dad?
My dad will.
Okay.
Yeah. Has anyone here heard of the AI for Educators book?
Yeah.
I haven't heard of it.
Have you been reading it?
I do a little bit of work with an online school, and so we just finished some workshops covering that book. So.
Oh, cool. Do you want to tell Kaz about it?
It's basically like, in a nutshell, it's ChatGPT for education. And so his perspective is like, it's a technology that educators should adopt into the classrooms. His analogy is like, it's like the calculator.
Yeah.
Where it like makes a lot of waves, but as a successful adoption as a learning tool, it can be pretty useful.
Yeah. But what about cheating though? Like, what's his opinion on cheating? Like, what if the student just uses it to cheat?
that's a tricky thing. So I recently went to a university conference. So basically the only ones who have rules for cheating for ChatGPT are universities right now. And essentially, from what I heard, they're evaluating it like they look at the learning goals for the course, and then they see if AI is detrimental or helpful in achieving those goals, and they evaluate it on a case-by-case basis. So that's all I know about that right now.
I just popped
but yeah, there are actually some university guidelines that have come out recently.
I just popped the link in the book. I mean, of the author. I interviewed him last month. Yeah, really great. Oh, they are. I'm wondering if Sam. Only thing I'm wondering is if people thought, due to my boo-boo, people thought it was at 7. Let me just email everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
1 second.
Let's go back here. Okay. Okay.
I'm double checking.
Yeah. Hey, Ganilla, since we have a moment, would you mind just sharing the thoughts on anything that's been different for you since taking Kaz's 1 hour class? Has any of it stuck with you or changed anything for you? And that's okay if not, but I just want to take advantage of this opportunity to ask.
Well, since I'm a retired person and I spend a lot of time going out to see music and things, so I don't do any I take seminars to keep my brain going and things like that. But I have sent your newsletter to some of my friends, and they're very interested, and they probably will sign up for some of your classes, Cass. And also, I was listening to somebody who said. He was an educator, I think, and she said, or resume, it was about resumes, because my friend's daughter is writing a resume, and they were saying, how can you use it for the resume? And one of the people that hire folks, she said that she can see already which ones are using ChatGPT. And she said one time she just she took the information and sent it to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT said, I did this.
Yeah.
So it helped her find out. So that was kind of interesting that, you can ask Chat if they did it or it did it.
I will mention
me,
that
that was-
ChatGPT is not going to be really accurate at doing that because, like, one of OpenAI's most official ChatGPT detectors only works 20% of the time.
Oh, really?
And you can even tell ChatGPT to write an essay that won't get detected by the thing, and it will write it for you.
Okay.
So ChatGPT, I wouldn't rely on that. Which is one of
Uh-huh.
the problems when it comes to cheating with ChatGPT because, like, it's so hard to find out if someone actually did cheat using ChatGPT or not.
Well, I also sent your newsletter to my daughter, who's 31, and she's a marriage and family therapist, and she's going to see if there's some way she can use it. But I myself, I've used it for somebody who had parents died, and I had to write a condolence letter, and it helped me do that. Things like that, that's why. But I'm worried about, will I know what's fake or not?
Yeah.
Livy. Hi, Kat. Good to see you. Did you think it was at 7, or were you just trying to squeeze it in at the end of your day?
I had three tries with the password before I could get in. And I was thinking, I don't know, I didn't come up with my invitation. I'm not complaining. I eventually did it. It was probably old age kicking in, and I should have asked ChatGPT how to get in.
You should have.
But perseverance paid off. So here I am.
Yay, I'm glad you tried. And did anyone else have problems getting in? No?
I did it first, but then I got in.
Oh my goodness. The password was giving me issues too. I wonder why. That's so weird. But you're here now.
Didn't give me any issues.
Yeah, you're fine.
I'm thrilled to see you, Livy. Is your aunt Carolyn Helwig? No.
There we go. Hi there.
Hi.
Hi, Livy.
No, my Aunt Natalie was going to join us, but she had to take my Nana to a doctor's appointment, so she's just going to watch the recording for this one. She was so sad because she does a lot of stuff at Education Innovation, and we were talking about it for like an hour today, and she was like, "It's gonna be so cool! I'm so excited." Anyway,
timing's
so unfortunately,
it's a thing, so people can rewatch it. There'll be a recording, share it. But it's summer and it's 6 o'clock Eastern, so many people are coming home from work or dinner. It's such a pleasure to see everyone here, and I know we're all keen to get a lesson from 12-year-old Kaz and learn more about what he's up to. I am. I just wanted to welcome everybody here. I'm seeing some familiar faces and some new ones pop up. I just wanted to thank you for showing up, for yourself, for Kaz, and for this space. My name is Hope Patterson. I'm a mom of 2, a transformation coach, and global education innovation specialist. And I'm on a mission. I was telling Kaz, I was like, do you know why I'm doing this? And he's like, no, I don't. I was like, do you think I'm a lady and, on Zoom, just like getting young people to deliver workshops? Actually, I am. My mission is to shine a spotlight on people doing amazing things in education. And I really want to have more young voices teach us grown-ups, or at least have an intergenerational exchange. And so I have started something called Hope Braintrust. It is a space online. We have events all summer. Sometimes we do in-person events, Kath will attest, designed for and by this growing community. And today's session is a very hot topic. We were just talking a little bit about it, artificial intelligence. There's all sorts of opinions, right, Kaz? So many.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of them. Like, ChatGPT should not be allowed. ChatGPT should be allowed. I don't care whether it should be allowed. There's like plenty of sides to take. And
totally. Yeah, well, we're looking forward to asking you, definitely. I asked Kaz and Sam if they would pop on and share about their experience, their father-son bonding mission to start a little company that would hopefully support other people to feel more comfy in using AI, or at least there would be some cool interactions between different generations. So today's agenda is pretty simple. I'm going to ask a couple questions before Kaz gets into his teaching, just so we understand the kid and the father-son behind this amazing project. And I'd also invite you guys. I'm going to ask some questions, and it's such a small group that put your hand up and we can all kind of ask away. So how's that sound, Kaz? Sam?
That sounds amazing.
Amazing. So I wanted to start off by asking you both, what sparked this idea to start this project?
Well, in the beginning, like when I first found out about ChatGPT, I was like, whoa, I can talk to an AI and have it write stories for me with just a simple question where I can even misspell my question. This is too good to be true. So I went to the link that they provided in the video because they were like all showcasing it. And so I tried it out. I was like, whoa, this is free too? That's a bonus. So I tried it out and it was like amazing. So I told my dad about it and he's like, this is amazing, Kaz. Like, whoa, thanks for telling me. And so like fast forward like a month or two, like my dad's like, Kaz, instead of doing lemonade stands, you should instead be doing like teaching people about ChatGPT, and like you're so good with it, maybe you can teach others about it. So now that like like from there, Dad said we're gonna make a post on Nextdoor asking how many people would be interested, and within like maybe a few days, we'd already gotten like 150 likes and
Get out of
plenty
here.
views.
What? That's amazing.
And then like after I did a few Zooms and it worked out amazing. And then
But first here in our dining room, there's a table right over there, you see.
Okay.
And that's where it started, in-person sessions with 5 students each, right there.
Yeah, that's where it started. And then after fast forward like maybe a month, we're like getting like 6 people in there. It's like getting packed. So we decided to try out the community center at our space in our town. And then we were starting to get reached out by people like the CEO of Nextdoor, who decided to reach out and to make like a post about it. And it was really like, whoa. And so she ended up making a post about it. It was really sick. And then from there, like we've been reached out to for interviews. And then when my mom commented like on the post saying, whoa, thank you so much for posting this, we realized that the CEO of Nextdoor was my mom's coworker from like a few from when she worked like a few years ago.
Yeah, but she had no idea that you were Kathleen's son.
No. Oh my goodness. That's so cool.
Oh.
So it's basically gotten to the point where Kaz has taught over 20 classes, both in person and via Zoom, with over 156 students, ranging in age from 10 to 91. Gunilla, who's here with us, is one of those. You've earned, people have paid $20 each, so you've earned over 3,200.
Over 3,500 now.
Yeah, and then it's worth noting also that a small business in our area had reached out asking if he could provide one-on-one advice because they were interested in learning how to use ChatGPT for content generation, blogs and newsletters, but to still be authentic with who they are. And so he did a B2B consultancy here as well. So that's a burgeoning little business.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Kaz, and how much time do you spend learning about ChatGPT and AI to help you be a good teacher?
Well, I mean, like every week or so, I'm gonna ask ChatGPT or like Bing AI, like, okay, what's the news about ChatGPT? Anything new? And then I'm gonna just try it out, ask ChatGPT if there's anything new. Okay. Now, I pay for the plus $20 a month, which lets me use ChatGPT with the internet. So I say, hey, ChatGPT, search the internet and find me like latest release notes for ChatGPT. and tell me about it. And then every now and then I might just go directly to the release notes, which is just a huge list of all the changes that's been made and whatever's latest. I'll just look at and I'll be like, okay, they added an extra plugin. They might have removed the feature temporarily, stuff like that. And that's how I get up to date.
Wow, Aaron Wang says that is really smart, and I agree with you, Aaron. It's smart, and it also is like pretty logical. So are you wondering, this is my next question, are you wondering, why are more people not exploring and doing what I'm doing to learn on their own? Why do they need me to teach them?
I don't know.
He just you couldn't see it, but he just elbowed me to chime in. And, okay, so I will. Our market is not like, let's say, 20 somethings and 30 somethings. Those are not, that's not the demographic that buys tickets.
Got it.
That seems to be more of a demographic where they're like, well, I'll just go to YouTube. And so the folks, and maybe you can.
Yeah, I'm 69, so.
But we serve people who want to learn about this from another human being, a live human being, and that's whether it's in person or via Zoom. But just the live interaction, the ability to ask questions, that's who we serve. And what we've found is that there are plenty of humans out there that have that preference, and that is probably likely to be the case for some time.
You got your market. How beautifully answered. That's smart of you, Kaz. And before I open up the questions for everybody else, my one last question for you is, what has been the most surprised look on someone's face when they actually realize what this can do? What does it look like? Has it been
like they look really surprised? Like they look, and like I've seen faces like, what? It can write an essay? And then I was like, people are like, one of the main things that can really amaze it are like when it writes in the style of somebody, when it like writes a lot of text really quickly, or when it's able to just do what it does and answer your questions really well.
Oh, I like your facial expressions, and I bet it was really cool to see people respond like that, right?
Yeah. There's a point in his 1 hour training when he's got a slide, it's a word cloud, it comes together, and he says, any questions? And numerous times we've seen the audience basically express that, like, yeah, we've got questions, but our mind is spinning.
And Livy here says, it's intimidating, even for me, and I'm 22 and do social media for a living. So, yeah, that's well said. I think it's intimidating for lots of people, but you don't seem intimidated, Kaz. Yeah, you don't. Would anyone, before Kaz dives into his presentation and teaching, does anyone have questions? Just feel free to unmute yourself and ask away.
So I do want to say, like, because I went to school for math and computer science and I graduated last year, like that is really smart using ChatGPT to teach you about ChatGPT. That's like, there's a lot of software, like computer science people who were like, I wish I'd thought of that. So that's really great. I look forward to it.
I also like sometimes look at the release notes, like that's the easiest way to learn about something new.
Yeah, and that's like a really good like note just for anyone about like any digital product or like newsletter or something. Like just sign up for their newsletter and check in on the release notes. Like that's like it's just like part of living in the digital age where there's so much amazing stuff out there if you stay up with the content.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I've observed, and I honestly don't know whether this is peculiar to this little guy or just more broadly to younger people, but I too would be intimidated if I were giving this class, given some of the people who've come. So I think it was the very first class where a woman, Bianca Buckrady, who is the head of global marketing for Amazon for artificial intelligence. So she was behind the $100 million announcement that they just did at this $100 million AI Innovation Center. She came to his first class and was here in our living room. And, I think many of us would be petrified. You got to be kidding me. We've got a world expert on AI who's coming to my class. So again, I don't know whether it's peculiar to him or whether just some people are young enough to not be intimidated. So maybe the benefit of youth.
So cool.
Yeah, I think that's amazing.
Catherine or Kath?
Yeah, I just want to say that, it's very intimidating because, I mean, I'm finding it for myself intimidating. I mean, I'm an early adopter and I don't mind jumping into things, but I have this FOMO, like, I feel like the younger generation can learn so much faster and quicker than people older like myself. And it scares me a little bit that, AI could, take so many jobs, and all my competitors, let's say, will be able to go miles ahead and much faster than I can because they're not afraid of it. I'm talking about the generation that's coming up and people like you. Like, you're learning 10 times faster than we did when we were growing up, and you have a much more facile, comfort with technology. So are you finding people coming in just like, teach me everything because I need to know this for my work? Or are people just like, this is just too much and I just can't handle it because they just get anxiety from?
I mean, we kind of get like what you said, and also like we just get people who are like, I want to be ahead of the curve this time. Like when the internet came out, I wasn't ahead of the curve, but this time ChatGPT is coming out. I want to know what it is. Like I want to be ahead of the curve. I want to try and like actually know what this is before the majority does. And then we've also had people who are like, I have no clue what ChatGPT is, but it sounds something like something I need to learn about, so I'm coming. And we have had other people like who would come just to like learn and see if I can actually teach the material.
What about the folks in whom you've sensed fear, or who actually have said that they're fearful, and folks who've said that they're afraid of losing their job?
They tend to come fearful, but as soon as they like see how powerful it is, sometimes they can sometimes get fearful. Like if your job is writing essays, then like that's like, whoa, I'm a little scared because whoa, this thing can write essays like I do in a matter of seconds. Like I gotta try and use this.
Totally. Well, we are excited for you to share. So let's hand the reins. There you go. You want to catch the reins? There you go, Kaz. Take the reins. You got the reins now. We are all ears.
So am I right, Kaz, that what you'll do here is show everyone the slides that we use when you teach an hour-long class, but you're going to skip over a lot of them, just briefly show them, but essentially skip over them until you get to the section on what is ChatGPT, and then you'll take it from there. Is that right?
I will note that like as I go through these, I'm going to skip a few slides and then explain a few others because like I want to get through this faster, so I'll just skip a few slides because they're not as important right now.
Yeah, but you're seeing what the students experience during an hour-long class. So you'll at least get a sense of how it is taught.
Great.
A quick question. Do you see a black box in the top right of the screen?
Yeah.
Is it fixed now?
There's still a small one.
It's a small one.
Yeah.
Okay.
It should be better now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So like usually when I start my Zoom, I will like tend to just leave this center like this like slide open as I like say hi to people, let them join, and then I'll like eventually like once everyone's in and I say okay now let's start, I will switch on to my next slide and just get right into it. So like here, once everyone's ready, I'd give them like I'd tell them the agenda, like telling them I'd introduce myself, tell them what the goals are, what ChatGPT is, and then I just kind of go through the agenda and tell them ask them how that sounds, and they just tell me if they like it, and if they don't, I can try and adjust it to make it fit them. So we'll just skip that. That's where I just introduce myself, This is where I like tell them why me and my dad do this. Here I'll just kind of like tell them like the goals of the Zoom, like kind of like tell them, okay, hopefully you can write code, write content, understand complex stuff, generate ideas, and conduct some research and analysis. And I'll kind of just like go over the goals and just tell them like, okay, this is what we hope to get. And now, like, a lot of people might be wondering though, like, what is ChatGPT? Like, what is this marvelous thing that's supposedly able to take away plenty of people's jobs? Well, to answer that, ChatGPT is basically a really, really smart computer brain that can kind of like read and understand the text that you give it, and then it kind of like creates text to kind of answer that question. It's like becoming your AI helper in a way. And basically, in doing so, it's a neural network, meaning that ChatGPT, it kind of like imitates the brain in a way. And like one of the main questions I've been asked, but more so by like people who want to know who are like more into tech, is what does ChatGPT stand for? Like ChatGPT is like such a used name now, but like what does it stand for? And the answer to that question is ChatGPT stands for Chat Generative Pre-trained Transformer, which is basically nerd talk for an AI chatbot that can basically, it's like the type of it, it's like generative AI, meaning that you kind of give it a question and it's got so much data that it's able to generate random but still good answers. And it's also, and a pre-trained transformer means that before you use it, it's been trained. And also it's a transformer, which is the type of neural network that it is. So basically, neural network is just like imitating the human brain, but not actually using a human brain. And then in doing so, it's also a large language model, meaning that it's able to understand and generate text from a vast and big amount of information, meaning that up to 2021, September 9th, it was analyzing all the internet. Like there's very few parts of the internet that it was not able to gain access to. So it's able to like, that's why it's able to generate such good answers. It's because it's analyzed trillions upon trillions of lines of information, making it really, really smart. And it's not doing this just in English. It's doing this in French, Spanish, Chinese, Japanese. It's even invented new languages that would be easier to learn or more efficient to talk in. Or like maybe even languages that are easier to write in. And as it's doing so, it's also constantly learning. To as long as you have this setting on, when you talk to it, it's gonna learn. So you could say hi, and then you could mention this new term like so you would say what like hi, and then maybe like there's like a new term that means the, and you would say it in a conversation, and it would kind of gain in a way its own sense of understanding of what that means. So
if enough people use it, huh?
yeah, so like, if like thousands to like millions of people start using that term, it's gonna eventually gain an understanding of what that term means, making it kind of like constantly improving and adapting to the new terms. This would be kind of like a pause section where I would say like any questions, like and then I would continue the key abilities. So, but before I continue, do we have any questions? I'll take that as a no. So from here, I would say ChatGPT. I would basically just explain how good ChatGPT is at writing, meaning that it can like write like full-on essays in matters of like seconds, and like how it can also write blog posts, marketing, create recipes, poems, and it does this like really well. So I just kind of like explain that to where they gain a sense of understanding of what ChatGPT is. Here I'd say how like good it is at solving problems, how it's able to like analyze and create step-by-step breakdowns for any type of problem. It's also able, like I'd explain how I can do in-depth explanations explaining like in a lot of depth like what like a certain like subject is, like trigonometry for say. And it's not only for math. And then it can also do personalized support, meaning that you can say, ChatGPT, here is my problem. Here's this math problem I have, and here's the answer I got. If I'm right, tell me how to explain the problem to me and how I got it right. And if I'm wrong, analyze the problem where I got it wrong and tell me exactly where I got it wrong. And tell me how I can make sure not let that happen next time. And then here I'd explain, okay, it can also act as more than just it can also act as your tutor, kind of like acting as your own personal tutor tailored just for you. And it can also like do personalized conversations. It can also do countless topics, and it can quickly adapt from like acting as your personal tutor to becoming your personalized Abraham Lincoln for the day. And so I explained that. And then I'd also explain how I can like summarize information really well for various audiences and like kind of how you can like tune it, like making sure the summary is like exactly good for you, like not too long, not too short, but also like not too not too adult like and not too kid like, and also like make sure that it's like in a specific style, like Robin Williams or Chris Rock and stuff like that. And then here I'd explain ChatGPT 4, which is basically just ChatGPT supercharged in a way. This has access to plugins, the web, and it's so able to like do better on tests. For example, we all know the bar exam. So ChatGPT failed it and it got 10th percentile. But GPT-4 got 90th percentile. Only 10% of humans did better than an AI on a test designed for humans. So it's also really good at like understanding the context of what you're trying to say. So if you like, if you're a little vague, ChatGPT 4 would be able to understand what you're trying to get to better than ChatGPT, and it's also a little better at reasoning. So here I would provide the link to ChatGPT if anyone wants to access it. Feel free to take a screenshot of this if you want to just take a peek at it. And then here, this is where I would kind of like actually access ChatGPT. So now I'm gonna just do my demo. So here I'd switch over to ChatGPT and I'd start doing my demo. So here I'll just do my demo and
Can I ask a quick question, Kaz?
Yeah, of course.
I wonder if you could, in your teaching, maybe do a demo with someone and maybe show them. Like, could you ask someone if they had any questions and could you demo it with them? Maybe?
Yeah, and like when I actually do it, what I would do is I'd say like, write a joke in the style of like, and then I'd ask everyone like, okay, do we want this joke to be in the style of? And then I'd maybe say, okay, wait, what do we want this now to be about? So I think we'll do that now. And for all my stuff to actually make this worth your time, I'm gonna do this in ChatGPT 4 because anyone can sign up for ChatGPT, but ChatGPT 4 requires you to pay, so I'll just demonstrate everything in ChatGPT 4. So right now I'll have it like write a joke in style. So like now you feel free to put the like any ideas in chat or like
famous comedian.
Aaron looks like he's got one right there.
Oh no.
See in his face.
Mm-hmm.
Say it out loud.
Okay. Make a joke about a magic trick.
Okay. And who's the famous comedian?
In the style of a knock knock joke.
Oh, I see.
And do we want this to be in the style of any comedian or just like?
I don't know a lot of comedians. Anyone want to help out here?
Ricky Gervais.
Tom Segura. You got Tom Segura?
Okay.
Here I might just like, if we've already had knock knock joke, I'll just say style Segura.
I just got introduced to him last night, Libby.
Knock, knock. Who's there? Abracadabra. Abracadabra who? Really, you don't know abracadabra? I thought that was like magic 101. Anyways, here's the real trick. I made your sense of humor disappear.
That's a good one.
Okay.
I love that comment at the end that the humor here is this dry observation style poking fun. Yeah, ChatGPT 4 is definitely better.
Could you say now write the same joke for Ricky Gervais?
Okay.
Now, write the same joke for, and now who we doing?
The style of Ricky, R-I-C-K-Y, right?
Yeah.
Gervais, G-E-R-V-A-I-O.
What?
G.
Okay.
G-E-R-V-A-I-S. I think we got it. Yeah. Well, again, even though misspelled, it still gets it. Okay.
Well, here it's like writing the same joke. A different joke.
Oh, I guess it's a little different.
Well, yeah, it's just here. And knock, knock. Who's there? Who? And so here's like sometimes where it's like it still didn't get the context. Like we want a completely different joke. So now same style, but make the joke about magic tricks. And here it'll say, knock, knock, who's there? Vanish. Vanish who? Vanish as in disappear. That's a fundamental part of magic. You're pulling my leg. Let me guess. Next you'll ask if a rabbit comes out of my hat. Well, here's my trick. I'll magically install a sense of humor in you.
It would be great if we could have Ricky's voice there.
Yeah.
I love this. Thanks, Kaz.
Okay.
Yeah. And now to answer Libby, your question, like ChatGPT can swear. I've seen it swear before, but it won't swear like on default. But if you kind of ask it like to act as like in the style of like maybe swearing GPT, a ChatGPT model that has a really big heart but swears in almost every sentence, act as this person for the rest of the conversation, it'll do that. It'll swear the entire conversation but still have like a big heart and like be useful. So like, but I wouldn't recommend writing an essay with that prompt. That would not be smart.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah. So
That's
here I'll
funny.
have it. Yeah. So here I might say like, okay, now create a recipe for 2 people, including these ingredients, but not all of them. Ingredients. So now like a use case for this would be like, let's say you have like a certain amount of ingredients in your fridge and in your cupboard, and you don't want to like search the internet for like hours trying to find a good recipe. You would just say, okay, create a recipe for 2 people, including these ingredients.
And have you used it?
So,
Have you done that for helping
yes,
out
we
your
have.
parents?
I've had it make cookies. They were really good. I was able to specify how I wanted my cookies, how tall I wanted them, what shade of white I wanted them,
Wow.
and it was really good at giving me the recipe. They tasted amazing.
Okay.
So what ingredients do we have in our metaphorical cupboard/fridge? Put it in chat or just say it out loud.
We have chicken.
Okay.
No.
Eggs.
How about eggs?
Parsley, did you say?
Okay. Chicken, eggs, parsley. How about some broccoli?
Garlic. Can't not have garlic. Lemon.
Lemon.
Salt,
Olive oil.
pepper, olive oil. You have to have the best olive oil,
Okay, right.
And
Sounds
it'll
like you're
do.
a bit of a cook as well. Okay.
Yeah, I am. Ingredients: 2 chicken breasts, 1 lemon, 2 garlic cloves, and it'll create the recipe. Right now it's giving us a lemon garlic chicken with broccoli recipe for 2 people.
Amazing.
Yeah. And again, it's
See?
not pulling this from somewhere, it's creating this.
Yeah, it's creating this recipe. It's like basically how I think it works is like when it looked at all these like recipes on the internet, it'll see, okay, well, this is a good recipe and it uses these ingredients and you have these similar ingredients. Okay, and there's like 5 recipes that do this and like 2 of them have 5 stars. But in the difference between the 5-star ones and the non-5-star ones is that these ones do so and so, and it'll kind of just look at the differences and see what makes this recipe better than that one, and it'll just look at all that data and kind of just say, okay, here I'm gonna make an even better recipe that uses these ingredients, learning from all 5 of these pre-made recipes.
Cool. Who put your
Now-
hand up if you're using ChatGPT to cook? Anybody here? No. You guys are. Now I'm gonna
I
think of
haven't,
it.
but I definitely will.
Yeah, and look in your fridge.
I'm curious what happens if you put something like now make the recipe like Korean influenced or like Southern, would that work?
Oh, cool.
Probably, right?
let's now make it Korean influence. And now here I'll just demonstrate how it can understand bad spelling. So include, I'll like include ant. And
Your spelling is
Okay.
good, Kaz, I have to say.
yeah, but I purposely misspelled that.
Yeah,
Korean
yeah, really.
influence in for the recipe. So it like perfectly understand what I was saying, even though I like misspelled that a lot.
Huh.
So like
Cool.
that's something to mention.
And now it's adding additional ingredients.
Oh, that sounds even better to me.
Wow,
Delish. You're
that's
making me
cool.
hungry. This is dinner time. Are you doing this on purpose, Kaz?
I'm not.
Okay.
But yeah, so you can add like Korean influence and stuff. So like this is just like if you're ever typing like you know saying like write a table and you've misspelled something, I would like just don't go back and fix it because that wastes your time. Even if it's just a few seconds, it's like that's gonna add up. So if you're spelling with ChatGPT, don't spend like an extra 10 seconds trying to make everything like perfect. So right now a table for now create a table for this recipe. Ingredient on the left and calorie count on the right. And now it'll do that. And then here I could say like this is like fine tuning. I would say add a total column at the bottom and add a third column with country of origin.
Country of origin.
And here's going to add a total count and country of origin.
Oh.
So here it'll just say like Mediterranean, South Korea, China, various.
This brings up a question that you're doing recipes here, but Kaz, do you teach other 12-year-olds or your friends tips and tricks on ChatGPT?
Well, I mean, like when I'm at school, if like when I'm hanging out with my friends, like if they want to know, like, okay, how can I use ChatGPT better? Because like I have this one friend who I code with, and like sometimes it's like we try and use ChatGPT to like springboard our coding. So like sometimes I'll give him tips on how to like perfectly like tell ChatGPT to kind of like act as a coder. So like sometimes I'll say like, you are going to act as Coder GPT. Coder GPT gives only the code with minimal comments and will understand whatever you ask it. It will also act as the world's best coder and the world's best software developer. to ensure that it provides me with the best code possible. And then I'd say Coder GPT's first task is to create code for maybe like a Flappy Bird game. Or maybe like a website, a pizza website. And now here it's gonna say, and so here it's gonna be just a lot, I've noticed it's a lot better at coding when you tell it to do this, because it's like, it's gonna constantly act as this, and it's like giving us minimal comments here.
I don't know how to
So
code.
here's-
Does everyone else know how to code here?
This is HTML.
That's-
It's
Okay.
decent.
Yeah, this is HTML it's providing. You can even just, if you don't know that much, you can just scroll up and it'll say HTML up here. And it's like, here you go. It's like no minimal comments, and there's no comments in the code. And now you could say, Coder GPT just like, if you want to update it, received in, and then release. This is like just some of the stuff you would use if you wanted ChatGPT to kind of act as like someone who's really helpful. Release notes, like maybe you could say, no comments now, or explanation, comma, also always provides most complex code possible for best user experience. So, and then I just might say update. So following your instructions, here's a more complex version of the pizza website. And that's just giving us like a full stack, a full amount of code. Like, you don't even like, at this point, it is good to know how to code, but if you want to just quickly code a website, like
Right.
without using like those like complex like coding sites, you can just copy what it gives you and then just troubleshoot with it, pasting it the errors.
Wow.
And then like,
can I ask you a question,
I've had-
Kaz?
yeah, of course.
This is kind of a biggie at the end. We have a couple people working in education here, and I can't help but wonder, what do you think, Kaz, about how schools need to change? If you and some of your friends are learning on your own how to code, how to, everything that you're learning by yourselves on AI and teaching each other, how do you feel the future of school or school needs to change to?
Well, I think that schools definitely need to just like, it's like the calculator, like you need to kind of learn how to control it. So like, I definitely get that, like, wait, on one hand, students could cheat if we let them use it, but then on the other hand, schools are supposed to prepare us for the future and for working. And when we're working, we're allowed to use ChatGPT. So whichever company has the best employees who are best equipped with ChatGPT and the latest updates, that's going to be the company that does best. So schools need to kind of adapt to that, because the whole reason schools exist in the first place was you need to teach students how to like do their jobs, like how to if they want to become a coder, schools teach them how to code, because in a working society that's how it works. So I think that it should be kind of managed as a calculator. Shouldn't be used for everything, but it should be like an aid when you're working. And I think that like if schools need to detect cheating, they might need to incorporate maybe like a school GPT, kind of like have like their own ChatGPT that's like tailored for work, to where it just saves everything you ask ChatGPT and it gives you. That way they can check if you actually cheated. To where if you're like in your one teacher's class, everything you ask ChatGPT, the teacher can check. So while it's still like you can still create your own account, this is one way of like making it harder for students to cheat. So it should definitely be a tool and eventually be taught in schools, like how do you use ChatGPT more effectively, but it's still like a complex question that like not everyone has an answer to.
You answered it well. I wanted to open it up if anyone wanted to ask further questions.
Yeah, I guess I'll jump in here for a little bit. How do you feel about data privacy? Has anyone asked you about questions, Kaz?
Well, I will just show right here that like for data privacy, yes, that is a concern. Like that's why businesses have created their own like fully functional like ChatGPT that does not learn off what you tell it. But for now, like if you are really that concerned about data privacy, I would just turn this off. This on one hand, this does suck because it doesn't save any of your ChatGPT history. You can always enable it. It's just like it is still like a nuisance, but if you really are that worried, maybe like temporarily turn it off for like this one private piece of information, or just completely turn it off if you really have like or like I do not want my private information shared.
So I have one more question, and that's kind of about critical thinking. So when I was with my school, there's a question of like ChatGPT is designed to be as like friendly as humanly possible. So sometimes it can essentially trick you into giving more information than you might otherwise want to. So are you sometimes worried that ChatGPT might bypass some people's critical thinking, or like act in perhaps an unethical way, or tell you something it's not perhaps best?
I mean, like ChatGPT, like I will say this, ChatGPT, like there's a whole OpenAI built a whole another AI on top of ChatGPT just to detect all this like unethical and inappropriate stuff and to stop it from getting like shown. But it's still like, yeah, that is the case for some people. Like they might lose their ability to do critical thinking, but that's like you have to just be smart with how you use it. It's like for the 100 million people, like the 100 million plus people who are using ChatGPT, it's like there's definitely going to be people who like just use it for everything. Like they use it to do their code, they use it to do their job, and they like lose their thinking. But I mean, I would say that like to not let that happen, just try and keep thinking like, okay, is ChatGPT trying to get anything? It's just like it's your choice how you use it. Like Livy said.
Is that something that you would like to see in your school then, like better critical thinking or technology critical thinking? Like if you could take a class in that in school, would that interest you?
If schools offered a class on how to use ChatGPT, I would definitely take it. But right now, I think it's the teachers who need to take the class on it because some of my teachers are like, I'm teaching social studies. I don't even want to learn about this. Like, no, this is like, I'm not even going to try and use it to help me with my teaching. And so this is like, we kind of might have to eventually do that because it's like kind of a block that's going to slow a lot of people down. So you have to be like in between not using it and using it, because if you don't use it, you're going to get left behind. And if you do use it too much, you might get really like messed up if it suddenly shuts down for a few days.
Overusing it, over dependent.
Yeah.
Thank you for those answers. Those were great answers.
Am I getting a sense that you're gonna maybe start a class on critical thinking, Aaron?
That is what my career consultant suggested to me. I'll give you the first notice if I do.
Okay, awesome.
So now I'm gonna like I'll shift to the training deck. And I just go over like the caveats. So here, like some of the main key caveats of ChatGPT are that like it's really like not up to date. Like pretty clear. Like every time you log on to it, it'll say ChatGPT is not up to date. Last time it got information was September 9th, 2021. So and you know, like it's like one of the most known things, but sometimes you can just forget that like some of the information it gives you may not be accurate because it's a little late in giving it to you. Now ChatGPT can also be inaccurate, meaning that like you can ask it for a fact about something and it can be like wrong and it can just think it's right. ChatGPT is like so many times I've noticed it's just overconfident. It's like I know this is right, even though like you sometimes like know the answer's wrong. Like sometimes the people who like who like are really good at math ask it a math question, it can mess up on simple stuff like 4 times 4. And that's kind of like messed up, but it's just reality. And now in doing so, it also has a few biases, meaning that when it analyzed the internet for all of its training data, it found a few like biases. Like on the internet, there are biases, and it kind of just found those. So that's just one of the mad things about it. So it's like it kind of absorbs those biases, and in doing so, it's also not sentient, nor does it have morality. So like ChatGPT, it's not alive, nor does it have feelings, but like sometimes it can be so helpful. Like if you're like creating a website and it just gives you a tip that saves you like a few hours, you just want to say, "Oh my God, thank you so much, ChatGPT." But then you kind of remember to yourself, "Well, wait, ChatGPT is not live though, so like, why am I saying thank you?" So it's like just like sometimes it can feel so alive and so sentient when it's not. And also, like, there is some inappropriate content that can get through, even with like a full AI made just to like block inappropriate content. Sometimes this stuff can like still get through, not get detected. It's just one of the flaws of AI. So that does suck, but like, the one thing I've noticed is that even if inappropriate content is getting through, it's always going to be orange. For even if it's like the AI is not able to like stop the other AI, to where the AI is just like kind of out of control in its way, it's going to become orange. So I'd recommend to be safe. As soon as any text becomes orange in ChatGPT, immediately hit the stop generating button. Even if you have to like just delete the conversation, because like sometimes bad content can get through. But I will say I've never seen the AI in like all my time using ChatGPT mess up when it comes to detecting inappropriate content. Like, but I definitely have seen it just like not been able to stop ChatGPTs from responding, which I really do hope gets fixed, because it's should be a little easy, like cut off the data stream, but it does what it does. So ChatGPT can sometimes ignore its rules if you tune it right, but if you ever see the text orange, just shut it off. And I'll quickly just mention how I am teaching people about ChatGPT. So I teach people, young and old, how to like become AI entrepreneurs and how to earn money and help teach others. This is where I kind of like it's like just how I can like let others do what I do, because it's like eventually I'm not going to be able to do all my classes, and so it's going to be nice if I can eventually do that. Okay. I'm done.
Oh, guys. So amazing.
Thank you.
Big round of applause. People had to pop off and go to dinner, and we really appreciate you sharing with so much confidence and clarity. It's a real honor to be able to chat directly with somebody who is diving in deeply. And what can you share with us about how people can find you? How can people find what you're offering?
Well, you can access my YouTube channel anytime. I'll provide the link in chat, and you can also just send me send me a message at kaz.keller. Put it in chat, kaz.
Okay, let's put it in the chat. And you know what? I will follow up with everybody who made it today and people who couldn't make it but were sorry to miss it. So I'll follow up.
My email.
Great.
I'll also just put in my dad's email.
Are you answering lots of emails these days, Kaz? You just
Yes, I am.
Wow.
I'm getting a lot. And that's how. And here's our site.
Okay.
So this is the site where people can sign up for the actual 1-hour training via Zoom or in person in our area, or that trainer prodigy program to learn how to do what he's doing.
So cool. Any questions, Aaron, Livy?
Before we pop off, I do have a question.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I just had one question before we pop off. I don't have my camera on, by the way, because my connection's struggling a bit. But I was curious if you have any recommendations of websites outside of ChatGPT that are powered by AI, because I feel like there's so many of them out there. I don't know, just like I feel so overwhelmed by all the options. Like ChatGPT is mainly what I use, but I'm curious if there's any others you could drop in the chat that you might recommend, or if you just stick with ChatGPT.
Well, I mean, I do use Bing AI, which is on Microsoft Edge. Now there is like a Google Bard, but it honestly, like, I asked it and it said ChatGPT was better. So like,
Really?
it's not the
Oh,
yeah,
really?
I asked Google's AI chatbot, and it said that ChatGPT was better, more accurate, and better to provide answers. Which is, I think that's really sad for Google to have their own AI against them. But I mean, that's that. But and then like I've also found like an AI, I forget the name, but it's basically an AI that can like basically you give it a prompt and it'll create like a video of like pulling multiple images, adding music, and adding text to create a video. And then there's a DALL-E. So if you have a ChatGPT account, you should be able to generate images. It's here, I'll put it in chat. labs.openai.com. Anyone who has a ChatGPT account can access it too.
And DALL-E is DAL-E.
DALL dash.
Okay.
DALL-E.
Like you almost need a newsletter to share all of these tips and tricks, right?
Yeah, we should.
You need it's like going to be a full-time job by the end of the summer. You're going to have to go back to school and you're going to be like, what do I do with all these emails? What are you going to do? Are you going to close up shop in the fall?
Well, I mean, I do have an AI set up on my computer that uses ChatGPT, image generation, and a bunch of other AIs combined to kind of like run in the background. And I'm like currently setting it up, but it will basically just look through all my emails and create drafts of the responses, which is kind of nice because I can just let that run in the background and it can just create AI responses, which is helpful.
And then
cool.
my wife and I kind of view this as another extra.
That's genius. I should do.
I know. I think you can be teaching productivity. Go ahead.
Yeah, if you do want to try.
You can sell like auto generating email response. Like you can sell that for like $10,000 to any business and they will buy it because people spend like 50 hours a week on emails and they're tired of doing it. Just so you know.
Yeah, what I do use is Auto GPT. It's basically you give it a goal and it'll create, and it'll kind of like just work its way, talking to itself to kind of get to that answer. And I kind of use plugins in it to let it access my emails. So from there, I'm able to just let it run in the background on my computer. And like I can even have it generate images and then send those images if I want it to. It's really good at it, but like, yeah. If you are on, if you do want to try it out, just like search up Auto GPT, and just like you can try it out, and eventually once you get the hang of that, you can just search up Auto GPT plugins, and that'll just let you install Auto GPT plugins. But it's like that's even more advanced than ChatGPT.
Wow, Cass, your brain. It's so great to see a father-son too. And that's part of why I was so curious to get you guys on here. And we so appreciate you sharing your story and also all of your amazing skills. Thanks, Erin.
Thank you.
Thanks, Livy, for showing up. I'm going to follow up as I do. And such a pleasure to see you all.
Thanks for making this possible, Hope.
Happy summer. We're inspired. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you so much.
You all.
Bye.
Bye.